Right now, we have a very current situation in Venezuela where we're on the verge of a US invasion into South America.
This content is in somehow is going to resonate with people's subliminal mindset, because there is a lot of things that the people thinks that they carry on, but they are not able to speak it for so many different reasons. Maybe they are completely overwhelmed by the daily pressures and by the, what is politically correct. But here we are not going to sacrifice the truth just for being agree with the momentaneous trending.
When we talk about media, what comes to your mind?
Adel, thank you for the question. Like, I always felt like when you are reading news, you are not reading, you're reading something from yesterday, because the news already happened. The news are not news from now. It's something that you're reading the past. So some people read the news, some people are doing the news even before it happens. And like there is a lot of manufactured chaos in the world. And bro, at this point, it's pointless and it's useless trying to entertain the idea that most things in the world happen just because bad things have to happen, just because some people have bad luck, or because the war just happened because someone wake up and say, hey, let's go to invade some other country. And the people is trying to convince themselves that the evilness doesn't exist and everything happens just because. But we know, our conscience speak to us that maybe that is not the case. Maybe there is evil people. And maybe sometimes we have to acknowledge that we cannot be blind in conscience and we cannot be blind in heart.
I couldn't agree more. I think that it's fair to say that the distance between truth and reality and what we think is the reality is greater than ever, and the media plays a big part of that picture, because we have to realize that there is a lot of political influence that enters media, and there are interests that powerful people have, and they will go to great lengths to portray something that they want to portray. For example, that in the case of Western mainstream media, they will work hard to create an image that overseas the world is dangerous, and here in the US everything is fine. But when in reality things are not so good in the America, suicide rates are through the roof, historic levels, poverty, the economy is in shackles. There's a opioid crisis. There are school shootings. There are so much division, so much chaos, and often the people in power, they will use the media to create an appearance that no, it's worse out there. So be happy. You have to be happy and thankful that you're living here. But I think most people can see and know for themselves that that's not the case. What do you think?
I'm completely agree. Like there is several wars ongoing right now in the world in different fields, all right? And one of them is the public opinion, because the public opinion has become the battlefield for devilish forces, like there can be so many interests to create chaos, so they need the approval of the public opinion. And if the media is going to hijack the truth and manipulate the subliminal knowledge of people, you're going to have a lot of drones, people operating like drones, like zombies, battling their intuitions. Because I believe that the people that some people believe that God doesn't exist and everything is just happen by chance. Like you wake up, you go to the kitchen, and you find your nice meal, someone needed to cook that meal. So that meal cannot prepare by itself. Imagine the world, man. Someone needed to create the world. Cannot if a meal cannot create by itself, imagine the world, man. So the
Yeah.
people believe the idea or entertain their moral relief that God doesn't exist, so I can do whatever I please. So I don't need to listen my intuition. So that's when the media manipulate public opinion. Because if you are not gonna listen your intuition, my friend, I can do whatever I please with you because I will send you malicious, toxic pleasures. You are gonna jump on them, you are gonna eat from them, and then you are gonna feel remorse. But you are gonna sedate your conscience, and once your conscience is sedated, you're gonna be completely at the hands of the mainstream belief because you're gonna listen bullshit, but your conscience is not gonna aware you that you are participating in bullshit.
Yeah,
Any kind of
you
move
become part of the problem, actually,
you you
and
will say that
without being aware of it even. Yeah.
I think you just addressed the problem perfectly. Like a lot of people is collaborating with the bullshit in this world without even being aware of it. How? Because they are sedating their conscience. And if we're here, man, trying to portray the idea that the people is not shutting down their conscience, we are being delusional, man. And all the people that are listening to this podcast, man, they have to put a hand in their hearts and acknowledge that yes, the second that you don't listen your conscience, in the second that you neglect your intuition, you're part of the problem because you are gonna eat from the lies of this world, and then it's gonna be too late. So whenever you want to react, you're gonna be cooked. And I don't want to be intense, but this is what is happening right now, and the people needs to wake up, man. And the wars and the pandemics and all the bullshit that is happening in the world is just because livelihood, man. No,
Mhm.
man.
By
The
chance.
bullshit in the world is being manipulated and is using your naivety against yourself, man. This is what I believe. I know, Adele, you're a man of faith, but I'm talking to the rest of the people that they know there is a God watching, and they know that there is goodness in the people. And you can deny God if you want, but you cannot deny the goodness that every human being has in their hearts. And whenever you deny that, you are denying your humanity. But
Yes.
we know that there is only one manufactured narrative, and we are not gonna back it up like saying like no, the narrative is not manufactured. My friend, the narrative is being manufactured like in a Chinese factory, man. Like every single sign, the same shit. Like the
Yeah.
iPhone, the iPhone with the Apple, every Apple is the same shit. They just change a little bit. It's a different iPhone. The same with the news.
Everybody has the right to choose. So here on this podcast, we don't differentiate between, we don't put down people who do not have a faith or do not believe in God. All people are welcome here. Atheists, agnostics, Christians, Muslims, Jews, Buddhists, Hindus, you name it. But we have to agree on one thing, that the grass on your background right now, Luis, the grass on those mountains, what's the color? It's green. It's
It's
not red.
great.
You know, I have two eyes in my face. I don't have three. There are things that we simply cannot deny. And these are universal truths that I think we can agree on. So when it comes to key mechanisms that the mainstream media uses to distort the reality or manipulate it, or just outright fabrications, I think the first mechanism is that media choose to highlight certain facts and bury something else. Thereby, they're shaping the viewers and telling them what's important and what's not important. For example, an event may be portrayed as a riot rather than a protest. People can be protesting for a good cause, for their working conditions, their salary, but the media may choose to portray it as a riot simply by emphasizing violent fringe elements. If one guy if one protester was violent, they may say that the whole thing was a violent thing, even though it wasn't. So I think that's one of the key mechanisms that they are using, highlighting certain stuff and burying or hiding other things. What do you think?
I think I think at this point, if you interview people and they have the courage to be honest, they will agree that media is a global machinery to create hysteria, man. Hysteria, in people. Because the main source of information is falling down. The people is realizing that most media is not telling the facts, is telling manufactured narrative. The people is acknowledging that, but previous generations they take media as fundamental truths, when actually it can be the other way around, So we can agree that the main source of information has been lying to us for profit and lust and power since the very beginning. So when is going to be the time that the people stop believing that much in the media, especially in fundamental topics of societies like medicine, pandemics, sicknesses, wars? Once the media or the hysteria that the media can create corral your mindset, you will take the wrong decision, man, because the same happened with the vaccines. We are not going to elaborate that much on that. We need more information about it. We are not blaming someone. We are pointing the fact that the population doesn't feel comfortable to being lied at their faces with their health, with their future, with prosperity, with the economy, man. The economy right now is crashing down. And you are from Generation Z, I think, Adele. I am from Generation
Me.
Millennials, I think. The
Yeah.
millennials in particularly,
Yeah.
we have witnessed the downfall of the American dream. We have witnessed the collapse of dating market. We have witnessed the collapse of the economical system. In the days of my parents, they brought this apartment where I'm living on for 40 grand, $40,000. Nowadays, this same apartment is like 120K.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
crazy.
it's
It's crazy.
it's like
The-
3 times already. But the inflation is kicking higher, and the number of people looking for jobs are multiplying.
right.
The prices of the households are skyrocketing. The jobs are going down because of the pandemics, wars, etc. And we millennials have to endure all this, man, in one sitting. And what media told us is all lies, man. So we do not have a proper source of information, and the people needs to clarify this once and for all. And I think this is my position, and this is gonna be the position of a lot of people that they feel that this message resonated with them.
I totally agree. And I think the political influence, it enters when media owners, for example, the owner of CNN, or advertisers or governments steer coverage towards favorable narratives or away from inconvenient truths. There are many examples of this. For example, the invasion of Iraq, the war on Islam. Right now, we have a very current situation in Venezuela where we're on the verge of a US invasion into South America, a South American country. And we see the media boosting these false facts that, for example, Venezuela is responsible for a lot of the drugs coming into America, when in reality it's Colombia and Mexico that has the highest production of cocaine, or the coca leaf, and there are many goals, there are many things to be achieved, I think, by the US if they intervene in Venezuela. For example, we know that Venezuela has a lot of oil. We know that they have many natural resources, and this is a textbook. This is a classic strategy that I think the collective West, not only the US, but before the US, we had the British Empire, and they basically ruled the world. We had many countries in Europe that colonized the world, and they also follow the same tactics. So there are a lot of financial interests behind a certain decision, and there are also interests that they want to control and dominate another country. So the media, especially the mainstream media, plays a huge part, I think, in convincing public opinion that an invasion of Venezuela is necessary in order to prevent drugs coming into America, even though the reality is a completely other thing.
Yeah, the reality many times can be upside down. We certainly do not have the clairvoyance to make a script out of it and say, hey, this is the truth. But we can start to get in the thoughts, trying to picturing what can be the real figure, always with the consideration and having our reserve that we do not own the truth 100%. But we need to have our own perspectives on things. We cannot be manipulated all the time by what the TV says or any kind of broken news, because they say breaking news, but it would be saying broken news.
Yeah.
And this is what we want to all the people that is visiting this podcast for the first time. That the first goal to approach in this first episode is to highlight the idea that the people must start to rely in different sources of information, starting from their conscience, from their intuitions.
Do not accept anything we say unless and until you are convinced that what we are saying is correct. We simply want to stimulate your own ability to critically assess what's around you, so that you are in a position to better understand things and make hopefully the right choices.